Last time we talked about real people, real conversations. We're going to continue today by engaging our president of the Cleveland branch NAACP, Will Tarter, and kind of talk about an overview of what the Cleveland branch NAACP is doing and what you should expect to see from the Cleveland Pulse podcast moving forward. Will, this has been a conversation in the making for some time. I'm ecstatic to sit here with you as the president of our branch and to kind of talk about it. As you know, our listeners don't know, my name is Edwin Hubbard Jr. I'm the executive director of the Cleveland branch NAACP, and I serve beside Will Tarter Jr., who is the president of the Cleveland branch NAACP, and he's going to tell a little bit about his day job and what he does, but I am ecstatic to welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much, Edwin. It's good to be here. As you said, it's a long time coming, and really appreciate the Freedom Dreams Coalition for partnering with the NAACP in Cleveland to help make this show happen.
All right, so Will, tell us a little bit about who you are in your day job and what it means for you to be the president of the Cleveland branch NAACP.
Thanks, Edwin. I work at a social services agency in Midtown, works on a lot of issues around homelessness, housing, reentry, and many issues related to the social services safety net. And outside of work, I am the president of the Cleveland branch NAACP. I love this organization and the work that we do. And when I look at the structure of the organization, how it's structured, and being able to respond to the issues of the day, but also relying on a legacy of the organization and how it's fought of different policy battles through the years, and always advocating for justice and inclusion and making sure that people feel like their voices are heard. I really appreciate that. I don't take that for granted. And I think regardless of people's interests in terms of topics that they're passionate about, there's ways to plug in to the organization, and the structure really responds to that. And so I feel very grateful to be involved, especially at this important time. We look at a lot of the policy conversations that are taking place and a lot of the decisions that impact policies, that impact programs, that impact people. It's like, how can the NAACP keep people informed of what's going on and make sure people have the opportunities to make their voices heard?
You hit the nail on the head. You know, moving in, it couldn't be a more important time than organizations like the Cleveland branch NAACP to be actively engaged and involved in the community work. So to that end, you've been involved with an organization for a significant amount of time now. Could you kind of give us an overview of the committees and what a person can expect if they're looking to get involved with the Cleveland branch NAACP?
So the Cleveland branch NAACP is governed by bylaws, which are established by the national NAACP. Those bylaws kind of shape the structure of the organization. We operate like a hub and spoke model, where we have 22 what are called standing committees. Those standing committees each focus on a different topic, such as education, health, political action, veterans affairs, LGBTQIA+, and other important topics. Those committees meet once a month, and that's really where a lot of the conversations take place around topics that are going on in the community. Then once a month, the NAACP gathers for our executive committee and our general body meetings, where those committees report out the topics that they are focusing on, the events that they might be supporting or hosting themselves. So theoretically, a member of the organization can come to a monthly meeting and find out what's going on all these various committees across the organization.
Organization sounds great. It's up and it's rolling. I love to talk about the past a little bit. How did you get involved? Like what brought you to a place in your life where you're like, hey, I want to get involved with the Cleveland branch NAACP?
Well, one of the things that I feel very strongly about is trying to close the gap between public policy and the people who are impacted by that policy. And everything that I do from an advocacy standpoint seeks to close that gap and make sure that people feel a part of the decision-making process. And sometimes that comes in different ways, such as providing testimony at different public body meetings, sometimes convening candidate forums where people can hear from candidates on what their positions are, or can share with them some of the things that are going on in their life that they want to bring to the level of attention of the person who's seeking office. So everything that I try and do is meant to try and close that gap, try and make sure that people feel engaged, informed, empowered about the policies that impact them. That's something I feel very passionate about. And when I look at the voices of individuals and how we can impact and inform a lot of these conversations, one thing that I say commonly is no one knows your story better than you. And so when people have the opportunity to share their stories or share their experiences, that is very powerful. Data is also very important as well. And when you're seeing things that are going on in the community that are informed by data, that are buttressed by stories, that's a very powerful and compelling argument in seeking policy change.
Great explanation. So for those who are in the audience who are not aware of some of the things that we've been involved in locally, can you talk about some of the conversations that we're having or have been a part of lately?
A few weeks ago, we hosted the judicial forum for the Cleveland Municipal Court candidates, where people had the opportunity to hear directly from candidates who were seeking office for the Cleveland Municipal Court. We had over 125 people in attendance over at the Cleveland Public Library. It's a fantastic event. Really appreciated that. We've also been involved in various other policy conversations, both at the local level and the state level. When we look at issues related right now, we're following the police chase issue very closely and trying to advocate for changes to those policies. That's something that impacts both officers and the public, and from a public health standpoint. So that's something that the branch is following very closely. When we talk about voting and elections, the importance of making sure that people are registered to vote, and that people are informed about their rights as voters. Today happens to be the first day of early voting, and so making sure that people know that they can vote at the Board of Elections, or they can look for their absentee ballot, which is, if they've requested it, going to be sent out in the mail today. So these are important information that the NAACP can and should be a destination for trusted information to share with the broader community. That's just an example of some of the conversations that we're having.
Great examples. So if I'm home now, you've intrigued my interest, Will. How do I get involved with the Cleveland branch NAACP?
Well, one of the first things is we encourage people to become a member of the NAACP. Membership is the lifeblood of the organization. For an adult membership, it's $30 per year. The adult youth membership, $10 per year. Life membership starts at $750 or can be paid in 10 installments of $75 per year. Membership is an important part of our organization. It supports our infrastructure, but also people can be informed of news and announcements, different things that are coming up. So we encourage people to become members, number one. Number two, we encourage people to become part of our committees. If there's a particular topic that people feel passionate about and they want to plug into a committee, if it's veterans or education or health or political action or so many other very important issues, housing, environmental and climate justice, LGBTQIA, whatever issues people feel passionate about, there is a committee for them. We have a communications, press, and technology committee where we talk about the external communications that we send out to the community. This is an example of the external communication strategy where we want to share with the community important things that can and should be on their radar. And so that's very important for us to have a strong infrastructure internally and to be able to respond to things externally. And so in the national NAACP, they have national issues, jurisdiction of national issues. The state NAACP has the Ohio Conference NAACP that responds to a lot of the state issues. And then you have the local branches that can look at issues at the local level. It's not just local branches, though. We also have prison branches. There's a prison branch in the Cleveland area that is doing great work in terms of empowering the women at the Northeast Ohio Reintegration Center. We also have different branches across the state, across the region. We have youth units where people can plug in. We're in the process of getting our youth unit restarted here in the Cleveland area. So there's a lot of great things that are going on here to kind of build out this infrastructure of the local branch. And we're really building on the legacy of those who have come before us. Many of the things that we're talking about in today's present age, it feels maybe overwhelming. Many of these conversations are not new. these are conversations and issues that those who have come before us might have faced, and we can learn from history. We can also share our own experiences, our own perspectives as well. I call it wisdom sharing, where you have wisdom of young people, wisdom of elders, and wisdom. We can kind of bring that together, creates a powerful synergy. So we have the opportunity to learn, but also to observe what's going on and how to respond to the issues of the day. So that's something that I feel very important to make sure that we feel that there is diversity in terms of perspectives and stories. And I really relish the opportunity in this organization to bring folks together and talk about the issues that are impacting our community.
Great. I mean, you kind of took the thunder from my next question.
Oh, no.
And I asked you told me how I can get involved, which is awesome, in the things that we're currently doing. But I want to know, for those out in the audience listening, what are some of the things that are coming down the pipeline from the Cleveland Branch NAACP? What's next for us, and what can people be excited about seeing moving forward?
Well, I mean, a lot of times when you have the national NAACP has like different stances and things that they take on, and they respond to the issues of the day. So they share that information with us that we can share out to the community. So they're responding to things kind of in real time. At the local level, we may deliberate on different issues internally. So you may have one perspective here, one perspective here, and come together and decide how do we take a position as an organization. So that's really where I really appreciate that. And when we look at the topics of the day, in terms of what is coming, sometimes there's things that you can prepare for. So you have different budgets that are being decided this year. You have the state budget, which was earlier this year. You have the county budget, which happens like now, next week, or the next couple of months that's happening. And then there's things that you may not necessarily be prepared for, things that come up that the organization responds to. And so that's one of the things that, as an organization, it's really important to recognize that there's going to be some things that you can prepare for. So we know that voting is a critical part of our democracy, and making sure that people are registered, people are educated and engaged about the issues and the candidates that are going to be on the ballot. And so that judicial forum is a great example of that. Going into next year, there's a lot of different races as well that there's going to be opportunities for civic education and civic engagement. And then, things that may not necessarily, we don't know yet, but we have the infrastructure in place to respond. When we look at our infrastructure and our committees and the different things that we're undertaking. And so, some things we're talking about now in terms of things that are coming. Some things are not yet ready for prime time, but I want people to know that this organization is built. It has an infrastructure that can respond to the issues of the day, something that has lasted for decades, and also is in prime position to respond to the issues of the day. And we do this in collaboration with other organizations as well, who are doing great work in the community. So no one organization can do everything. And I think that's really important, that we see what other organizations we can work in partnership with. There might be other organizations that are championing a particular cause or issue that we might sign on to and support. There might be organizations that maybe we take the lead, that we appreciate other organizations come alongside us. And so I just want to look at the organization and the important role that it plays in the community and the issues that we're seeing today. I really appreciate the fact that we can serve as a destination for information to share with the community. This podcast is one example of that. And then there's other ways that, from an external communication standpoint, that we're going to be putting into place to share information broader with the community.
So you answered my last question too in a roundabout way, but I'm going to ask it more directly for people who don't know. The Cleveland Branch NAACP is a nonpartisan organization.
That's correct.
And to that end, can you speak to what issues that we can and cannot be a part of?
So we cannot endorse candidates as an organization. We can talk about issues. We can talk about the impact of public policy and decisions on people. When we talk about stories, we talk about data, we can talk about what the experiences of individuals who have gone through things, have seen things along the way. And we can elevate those stories and share that with the community. So that's an example of where we can look at issues and bring the community together to talk about them, or we can talk about them inside our committee infrastructure and kind of discuss things and come together and say, okay, so how do we move forward? So I think that's one of the things that I think is really important is understanding not just where we are, but how we got here, and bring people up to speed in terms of what's going on, not just the what's happening, but the why, and then how do we collectively decide how to move forward? And so that's something that, as an organization, we have the infrastructure in place to approach those conversations.
Awesome. Will, I want to thank you for taking the time to come and sit down and take just a few minutes to speak with me about the Cleveland branch of NAACP, what we have going on, what you all can look forward to seeing as we continue to grow and move forward as an organization. Will, would you be kind to tell people how they can get in contact with us if they're interested in speaking with us or being a part of the show or even joining the organization?
I would encourage people to go to the national NAACP website. We can learn about the mission of the organization. We talk about uplifting all people, in particular Black people, and we look at the systems and how they've impacted us over time and continue to impact us to this very day. So encouraging people to look at our mission statement, look at our vision statement. Also go to clevelandnaacp.org where you can learn about the different things that are in place, although we're going to be updating our presence online as well. But that's a really great opportunity to learn about what are the issues that are going on when it comes to voting rights, when it comes to education, when it looks at criminal justice reform. There's a lot of different topics that the national NAACP is involved in. The state NAACP also has a website that people can go to learn about some of the issues that are taking place at the national level, and also at the Cleveland NAACP site as well. So I would encourage people to go to our websites, learn about the infrastructure of the organization, and then reach out to the branch and find out how can we become a member. If you want to join a committee, reach out to the local branch and to our staff who do great work handling the day-to-day operations of the branch, and then share the word. When we look at the issues of the day, making sure that we as advocates take the information that we glean and we share that with the broader community. So we look at educate ourselves and then educating others. So like, what do we do with the information? They say, don't put your light under a bushel. Share with the world. That's something that I feel very strongly about. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to share this information with the broader community in this fight for equality and justice.
Although this is the first time you join us for our podcast, this will certainly not be the last time. To our audience and our listeners, you heard it here first. Who we are, what we're doing, and what you can look forward to seeing. If I don't see you between now and then, do the best you can to take care of yourself before we see you again. And thank you for tuning in.